What's going on out there, lords and ladies? Welcome to the channel. I'm your liege lord, the Godless Gamer. I'm sure many of you right now are saying to yourselves, it's about damn time, man. Why haven't you done a Manor Lord series? Well, I'm rectifying that mistake now. In my defense, the game has been in early access, and it's still in early access, so it's still getting content slowly. And since it's been a year and a half since its initial release, it's gotten some additional content, so we have more to chew on now. There are plenty of updates to come, but if I keep waiting for more content to be released, I'm never gonna get this series done. You know what I mean? So I thought now was a good time to pull the trigger. I've got a decent amount of time of my own time playing this game. I've gotten like over 130 hours logged on this game, so I know what I'm doing. Um, we're going to be playing on one of the newer maps, by the way. So some of the new content we will get to enjoy because I'm going to be playing on one of the new maps. One of the maps that didn't exist when the game initially came out. So this came out in April of 2024. So it's been a year and a half since its initial release. So we've gotten more stuff. There's definitely more content to come, but I'm not waiting. I'm tired of waiting. So we're going to play. I'm not going to start a new game because every time you start a new game, the game randomizes resource distribution and your starting location and everything. I found a location that I like, so instead of having to do it over and over again, I already found a place where we're going to play. So we're not going to press new game, we're just going to load game. But for new game, my name is Milord. That's my name. This is my portrait. This is my emblem. I made this. We're playing on normal difficulty, essentially. If you think of these three scenario templates, think of this as easy mode, this is normal, and then this is really hard. We're playing on normal difficulty with all of these conditions, these campaign conditions. And then the map that we're playing on is High Peaks. This is one of the newer ones. It's the smallest map that currently exists, but I like it because I like the landscape. I think the map is just visually stunning, and I like the differences in elevation. Because when I start on a new map, the first thing that I scope out is a place for me to put my castle. And if a landscape has a lot of high and low areas, it makes it more fun to roleplay and decide, I'm definitely building my castle here or there because it looks strategically smart to build it there. Like, the medieval engineer in me comes out in this map because there's a lot of cool places to build your cities and stuff, so that's why I chose it. It is the smaller map, so it's going to come with its own challenges and its own benefits since it's a smaller map. uh, Being a small map has its own problems, but having really, really big maps has its own problems as well. So I chose the small map because I like the map so much, and we're doing Restoring the Peace. Two territories in the north are claimed by the illegitimate baron whose castle is located off the map. Bandit camps reside in the other unclaimed regions. Build and expand at your own pace. When ready, challenge the Baron for the Northern Territories. Now, the game says there's two territories under the control of the computer, but that's not technically true on this map because there aren't that many regions. On this map, we each start with only one region. So the computer's not going to start with two. They're just going to start with one. So this is our map. This is my second take recording this episode because in my first take I looked at all the maps, but just to save us some time, I'm not going to do that this time. We're just going to dive right in. So this is me. My name is Milord because we're going to be role-playing as a baron because I think the amount of land that we have, if I'm thinking about it from a perspective of like CK3, the amount of land that we start with kind of looks like a barony. So, and since the computer that we're facing is technically a baron, we have to roleplay as a baron, and barons are addressed as milord or your lordship, so that's how you'll address me during this series, because I'm a baron. Okay, without further ado, let's load this up. Newly minted lord. We'll take a few minutes and we'll look at our starting position, and then we'll just get right into playing. I have to rush. Like, there are certain things that I have to rush towards. Like, time is of the essence, so I'm just going to immediately pause. And let's take a look at the map. So it's really small. It's only 4 regions, whereas the other maps are like 7 or 8 regions. This is only 4. And as you can see, the AI is only starting with 1 region. We're each only starting with 1. So I like the starting location that, when I was searching, I have a staple industrial resource that's a rich deposit. So I can, if I get the right development perks, if I get deep mining, which is something I'm going to work towards, it will turn this resource into an infinite resource. So I can use this resource as an industry. Industries are good for money making. I would have preferred maybe an iron resource that was rich, but we didn't get iron, we got clay, and that's fine. I can utilize clay to make money. Getting an iron resource has further benefits, like I can make my own weapons and armor and stuff if I had iron. It's just not the draw that we got. RNG didn't give us an iron deposit, so we'll have to figure out things as we progress, like how we're going to get access to iron. We might have to trade for it, but as long as we have some kind of industrial staple, I'm happy. So we have an industrial staple, we have a food staple because we have a rich source of berries, which is I typically like starting in a region that has a rich food source because it's a nice way to get my settlement off the ground. If I have a stable food source that's pretty unlimited, it's not unlimited, but it's a decent amount of food that I can help get my village off the ground. And so as a result of having 2 rich resources in our region, that means that the land that we're sitting on isn't really fertile, because that's the trade-off. See? So fertility sucks in this region because we chose to have 2 rich resources. Now, if there is our enemy's region, he only has 1 rich resource, but as a result of that, his land is really fertile. So that's the trade-off. I typically don't like to do farming regions and utilize farmlands. I prefer not to do that. I prefer to have like an industrial region, which is what our region here is going to be. So as a result of having the smaller map and the smaller regions, look, there's not as much wood to go around. There's not as many forests, so that's one of the challenges to having the smaller map and the smaller regions. I have to be more strategic when it comes to managing my wood resource. Because if I chose one of the other maps, we'd have massive forests that we could just eat into and just not really think about it. But since we're doing a smaller region and wood isn't as abundant, I have to be more strategic about it. So that's what I like about the smaller regions. And I like the landscape. Look, this is an obvious place to build my city because it's on the high ground. See? Like if you were approaching this city along this road, this is the obvious place to build the town. It's on defensible ground. So that's why I'm really happy with our starting region, because we have this huge promontory to build on. While I was searching for a place, we could have gotten this region, and here's another cool large promontory and place to build my city, but I don't like this as much. Even though it's a larger elevated position, wood is far more scarce. At least in this half, because if we had gotten this region, I would have wanted to build up here, but this is away from all the wood resource. You would have to come all the way down to this part of it in order to get access to a lot of wood. I mean, there's some wood around here, but you know what I mean. At least in my region, we do have an elevated position. It's not as large, but it's still a cool place to build a city on. I like it. So that's why I chose this region. For the resources, the staple food, the staple industry, and then the elevated position at the cost of not so much wood. Alright, that's enough talking. You guys are tired of hearing me talking? I'm tired of hearing myself talk, so let's get moving. I'm going to start building some road systems. I want to try to avoid doing like a grid pattern because I tend to get caught in that trap building on like a grid, which is makes the cities boring looking in my opinion. I want my city to develop organically along winding roads, curvy roads, roads that go with like the contours of the elevation. You know what I mean? I want the city to develop organically. I don't want it to look like a grid pattern, even though doing things on a grid might be better logistically, you know? I mean, why do we build our cities in grid patterns nowadays? It's because we have traffic and we have roads and it's just easier for traffic and stuff, but we're not going to develop our city that way. I want it to look natural. So let's build some windy road systems that we can build around. So there we go. I'm thinking to myself in my head, where do I eventually want to build my castle? I think I want to eventually build my castle or my manor house right here. Yeah, because this is like the highest elevation aside from this. Like this is technically the highest elevation, and I like that the map shows the elevation. So this would probably be the place to lay down a castle. But over here is pretty high elevation too. So I think I'm going to build my manor house right here. So keeping that in mind, I'm going to mark this area for my castle. So what I like to do is draw a little picture. I'm horrible at drawing, but you get the picture. Alright, this is where I'm positioned for my castle. I want to cordon areas off where I have ideas on where I want to build certain things, just to make sure that as my village develops, I avoid building things in places that I've planned out for other things. So, for instance, I want to plan where I'm going to put my church. I want so the way I'm going to develop my village is there's going to be a center of town that's like the center of logistics, and it's where I'm going to put my market, it's where I'm going to put my church. It's going to be the center of like a residential area, but I'm going to put my storehouses there because the center of town is going to be the nerve center. It's the marketplace where everybody goes. It's where the storehouses are. So if as I start developing industries and artisans, they have to come to the center of town to get their resources to make whatever they're making. So I want the nerve center of town to have the market, and I want it to be where the church is, and I want it to be where some of the higher end housing developments are going to be, because I want that to be the center of town, the wealthy part of town, you know? So I like to plan that out first, and usually my church is in that area along with all the storehouses. Okay, I think I found a place for my storehouses. We have very limited resources to start, so I need to build the most important things first. And the most important buildings are the storehouses, because we have our resources, but they're out in the open, in the elements. So we need to build storage facilities for these resources. And I typically like to build them right next to each other, the granary and the storehouse. So let's get these planned out right next to each other. Granary is highest priority because we have food that's out here spoiling, and we need to get that inside first. So we're going to build the granary first. Then the storehouse. This is where we're going to put future houses. So the next building I need to build is a logging camp, because timber is what we used for construction. And we have a limited amount of timber to start, so we need to get a timber camp built. And then I also need to get food gathering under control. Ooh, that reminds me. I'm going to do a little trick here. We want to preserve these berry bushes. We don't want them to get destroyed by industry or wood cutting or deforestation. We want to protect these bushes. So a good way to do that is to identify all the bushes. It's all of these. So what we need to do is cordon off this area. Yep, that's all of the bushes protected. Because I did that. So we need some kind of food gathering building because berries don't grow year-round. They only grow in the spring, and during the wintertime, you can't harvest from them. So while we have the weather, and since it's spring now, we need to gather up as much food as we can, so we need to get that built. I need to get a marketplace built. 20? I don't need that many, but I think that's fine. Okay, that's our market area, and let's get a burgage plot planned here. I don't think I can do 2 anymore. Now I can only do 1. But within this 1 plot, not only do I get a backyard extension, I get a residential extension too. So I can fit 2 families in here, and then as I upgrade this burgage plot, I can fit even more families. So I can cram a lot of families into 1 plot if I do this. But I'm not trying to build really big plots right now. I'm trying to just give the current villagers that I have, or the current families that I have 5 families. I need to build enough plots for 5 families. So yeah, probably something like this. I don't have the timber to do it, but this is what I'm going to do immediately. I'm going to save up enough timber to build 5 villages. I really have to maximize my population as soon as I can, because when the time comes, I want to get my militia going, and we have to start taking out these bandit camps before the AI does, because when you take out the bandit camps, you get money and influence, and if we let the AI destroy bandit camps and let it start accumulating influence, the AI will be able to claim these empty regions, and we don't want that. So we want to be the ones that take out any of the bandit camps. We don't want the AI to do that. So that means I have to get my freaking militia going as soon as I can, which means boosting my population as much as I can. As quickly as I can. Okay, this space is saved for residential. I'm going to build a plot here. So I'm going to draw my little house. And then I think maybe I'll build my church right here. Because this homeless camp is going to disappear once we get some houses built. So how about we build our church here? Close to the center of town. So I'll draw my little cross. So church, residential, residential, and then we'll see how it goes. Alright, let's start playing. It's just how I operate, guys. I want to get things planned out before I just start putting buildings in places and not having planned it out ahead of time. You know what I mean? It's just how my brain works. So whether we know we're eventually going to build our manor over here, we're eventually going to build industry here. Okay, there's the granary. I need to immediately hire somebody to work the granary so they can get this bread out of the elements. Same thing with the storehouse, because we need to get this firewood out of the elements. The game says we're running out of food, but that's only because the guy's moving it. So that'll go away. Okay, so all of our food is in the granary. I can fire that guy. Unassigned families are the ones that do construction projects and operate the ox. We're getting a message. I've heard of your renown. I only seek to defend my rights and my honor against those who would wrong me. I hope you will not judge me by the rumors and slanders that some may spread about me. Signed and sealed by my own seal, Hildebolt von Barenroot. Let's write back to this fool. Now, this is a part of the game that still needs developing. We only have really one option. I don't have enough influence to give these responses, so we'll just give this rhetorical response. You have no rightful claim to Selbitz and Hofstetten. So that represents the guy, the AI, sending us a message. Oh yeah, speaking of names, I have to rename my region. It's not going to be Earlhart. Because this game reminds me so much of Kingdom Come Deliverance, because it's basically taking place at the same time, like the early 15th century. Think like Henry V, Agincourt, that time period, early 15th century. That's what it's aesthetically looks like. The buildings look like they came from that time period. The armor and weapons look like that. So, since Kingdom Come Deliverance is one of my favorite games, I'm going to honor Kingdom Come Deliverance. We're going to name our starting region as Skalitz, because that's where Henry comes from. So that's the name of our barony, Skalitz. Alright, back to business. Once this logging camp is done, I need to assign somebody to it, because we need wood ASAP. I don't need somebody in the storehouse, because all of our supplies are stored away. So let's get a woodcutter going and assign them a region. Now, technically, I don't have to assign the logging camp a region. They'll normally just cut down trees to whatever's closest to the logging camp, but just as a matter of habit, it's a good habit to get into, just to assign them a work area. I have to be strategic about what forests I'm cutting down, because we don't have access to that many forests. Now, there's a way to counteract that. You could always make a forester, and they'll plant new trees and regrow the forests, but it's a process that takes a lot of time. And I can't afford to build foresters right now. Families are in short supply, so... Okay, so let's get some other things built now, because now we have a source of timber coming in. Let's get some other buildings built. I have to build a well. I normally like to build it close to the market, because it makes sense to have the villagers just have to come to the market and they can get their water as well. I just don't want it to get in the way of future development. So I want to be, I don't want to build it there, because I'm going to build some houses here. Let's do it right here. Wells have a decent range, so... like, even if my urban sprawl starts expanding quite a bit, this one well will be able to supply a lot of people. So, that's a good place for it. And that'll be enough space for my church, I think. I can always just move this forager's hut to somewhere else to make space for my church. Alright, we need to save up some timber so I can plan some residential areas. Alright, we should be saving up. We have a year's worth of food right now. That might seem like a lot right now, but once we start developing the village, the food isn't going to go so far. We're going to... the food supplies... it looks good now, but Not if we intend to develop, which we want to do. So let's save up maybe like 2 years worth of food. Because I have to utilize the time of year now, because winter's coming and the berries won't be available forever. How are we doing on wood? Alright, we can start planning our housing. So this is the center of town. I want the burgage plots around the center of town to be like the nicer ones, the nicer end ones, because these are the burgage plots that I'm gonna upgrade to the next level first. Let's build here. Let's... I'm deciding. Or should I use this space right here? Okay, let's do this. We'll utilize this space right here. We want 5 burgage plots with extensions at the bare minimum size. So this looks like it's going to be what we do. I can't pull the trigger until we have 1 more timber. Oh, there it goes. Okay, let's get these built. Now, building these 5 burgage plots will give houses to all the families that we have currently, which will boost our settlement up to the next level, because I need at least 5 burgage plots, level 1 or higher, and that will accomplish that. So we'll get up to the next level, we'll get our development point and everything, and then we'll move on from there. Okay, how are we doing on food? We have 2 years worth of food. I think that's plenty for now. Let's have another unassigned family to help with building projects. Alright, there we go. Now that we have 5 burgage plots, we went up to level 2. We could spend our development point. Now, eventually, we want to come down this tree because we want to get to deep mining. Enables the building to extract resources indefinitely if placed over a rich deposit. So when it comes time for us to start developing our clay industry, we want to have unlimited clay. So we're eventually going to work towards this. And since this is a smaller region and wood, there's less wood to go around for fuel. Building a charcoal kiln, since it's the first stage of going down this tree, we want to build charcoal because that'll make our fuel efficiency better. It turns 1 firewood into 2 charcoal, essentially doubling your fuel supply without having to chop down as many trees. So both of these development perks are what we're going to get. But to start, I think the smartest development perk to get would be forest management. Doubles the capacity of wild berries. So we have a rich berry deposit already. This will double down on that. So we will have so many berries to harvest, which will provide us a nice staple food source to continue to develop our village. So having a nice stable food supply is really, really good to start. So I'm getting this one first. So now the maximum supply is 256 berries, so it doubled the supply. We got a new message. A strong militia is paramount to the survival of any settlement. Luckily, a shipment of weapons has just arrived, and you will now be able to create your first militia banners to serve you and protect your people. However, we will need more weapons to equip all the people as the settlement grows, either by making them or importing them from other lands. Okay, so as a result of going to the next level of settlement, we get some free weapons from which we can start creating a militia. We're going to create a spear militia. Now we're only starting with 10, and we need to work on this. This is why it's so important that we build new houses and start increasing our population and bringing in more families, Because what we want to do is get our militia regiment up to hopefully 20 or something like that, so we can start taking on these bandit camps. We don't want the AI to deal with any of the bandit camps itself. We want to deal with all of them. So we need to start boosting our militia as quickly as we can. So all the burgage plots are filled. I'm going to quickly use this moment to move our granary and our storehouse. We don't lose any resources. We get refunded, so it's okay. And rebuilding them won't take that long because they're right across the way. Alright, let's get that storehouse. Hopefully I left enough room. Oh, yes! Look at that, just enough space. Perfect. So let's get those built. And then this is going to become an entire residential zone right here. I think I can squeeze 2 in here. 2 plots with backyard extensions. Yep. Let's get those built. And we'll pace ourselves in terms of residential development, because if you just start spamming a bunch of houses, a lot of people are going to start moving in, which is great. You want to boost your population, but if you do it too quickly, you're going to strain your food supplies and all your resources. So you want to pace yourself. At least that's what I try to do. But we're going to get a couple more houses built so we can increase our population here. All right, so we have 3 families not doing anything. I don't need 3 families building things. So we're going to assign one of the families to the Woodcutter's Lodge to start getting fuel. And being careful to avoid our berry bushes. That should be enough. All of the berry bushes are within this. So they should be safe. So this space is where I'm gonna maybe build my church. Maybe we won't exactly build our church here. We'll build it like right here. Because I really want the church to be in the center of town. I feel like that's where a medieval person building a city, a medieval planner, would build it. You want the church. The church is one of the most important buildings in the whole town. Okay, exposed stocks are getting soaked. That's okay. We're taking care of it. We only have 2 months worth of fuel. That's not good, but we did just hire a woodcutter. Now, it's not super important at this very second, because I want to get some houses built first, but we need to build a saw pit, because we need to get access to planks. I can't build a church until I get planks, and I can't fill these backyard extensions yet on my burgage plots until we have planks, because I want to build chicken coops. It's another access, or another source of food. The more different varieties of food that you have, the higher your approval rating. And we need to get our approval rating up above 50%. Speed up a little bit here. Now, the saw pit uses timber, so it makes sense to build it right next to where the timber's stored. And this is another building I can just easily relocate when I relocate the logging camp. I'm gonna take somebody off of the logging camp and put him in the saw pit just to give us a few planks. We're up to 5 months worth of fuel. We just need enough fuel to get us through the winter. We're over 51% approval, which is good. Approval is a measure of how the people feel towards your rule. It determines population growth and the morale of your militia should you rally them. When a month passes, the effect of this month category transferred to previous month's category, where they may compound or lessen over time. So our population won't improve unless our approval is above 50%. So now that it's above 50%, our population can increase. We still only have 5 families. Now, there is a stone resource in my region. It's not that much, only 140. But I need stone in the short term to build some important buildings. Like, in order to upgrade my, my granary, I need stone. In order to build my manor house, I need stone. So, I'm probably not going to put somebody in a job here yet, but I'm still going to get it built. Alright, how many planks do we have? 16? Alright, so we're starting to accumulate planks, which means I can start building chicken coops. I only had enough regional wealth to build 3. If we want to get more regional wealth, we need to take out these bandit camps, because they're a good source of wealth. So until we take out a bandit camp, those are the only extensions I can build. Alright, this hitching post is going to get in the way. So let's move it over here. So I don't have enough stone to build my church, but this is basically where it's going. Okay, we can construct the church now. Let's get it. Building this church will assure that our approval stays over 50%, so we can guarantee our population increases. The stonecutter camp is done. We don't need any more planks right now. So let's get somebody back on getting timber. How are we doing on wood, fuel supply? 8 months. Let's try to get to like a year's worth of fuel saved up. And then I can reassign this family to do something else. Maybe work the stonecutter camp so I can start getting more stone. We have none now. Speed up a little bit. Hopefully in this episode I can raise my militia and take out a bandit camp. I'm sure before we get to the end another bandit camp is gonna spawn. But I think 20 spear militia is going to be a good number, because the bandits, if I remember correctly, they have 18 men in their little company. So if I can outnumber them. So 20 is a good number to aim for. Okay, so another family moved in. We got another one, which is going to boost our men-at-arms up to 12. So every time a new family moves in, the the regiment or the company. Let's call them companies. The company increases by 2. So let's start planning out some more residential. I don't need the backyard extensions to be super big. I just want to have enough space to have... Ooh, look at that. They're going to be kind of funky looking plots, but that's okay. I don't care if we have funky looking plots. It makes it more interesting looking. So 2 plots with backyard extensions and additional housing. So just building these 2 plots is going to help us increase our capacity, our family capacity. So I don't have to build any more burgage plots. I could just develop these 2, and we should be just fine. Okay, now getting that extra family, because we have an extra family now. Let's get somebody working the stonecutters camp so we can start accumulating stone. I'm gonna need that, because I want to upgrade my granary as soon as I can. Some of our fuel was stolen. See, that's what happens when you allow bandit camps to keep existing. If any bandit camps exist, there's a chance that they're gonna steal your stuff. So we want to get rid of them as soon as we can. There's still only 1 bandit camp. Okay, we've got enough fuel for a year. Let's get another month's worth. Uh-oh, what just happened? Did another bandit settlement pop up? Yep, another camp just settled, or just popped up. And that's not good, because we have to take this one out first. He's closer to my enemy. So if my enemy musters some armies, they'll be able to come here and smack these guys down pretty quickly. So of the 2 bandit camps, we want to take this one out first, because this one's further away from our opponents. So this is the one we're going to go after first, and it's not that far away. It's pretty close. Which is one of the challenges to being on the smaller map. Because if this was like the huge map, like a bandit camp might spawn miles and miles away from your settlement, whereas on this map, everything is so condensed. So how are we doing on our militia? Only at 12 now, yeah, because we still have only 6 families. But we should get another one soon. There it goes. So now we have 7 families. That should boost my men-at-arms to 14. We're aiming for 20. And we have a spare family now, so... we have plenty of food. I was tempted to get some more berries, but I don't think we need that. How about we get another... let's get some more timber. Oh, no, let's assign 1 to the saw pit. I need some planks. I need planks to upgrade my storehouse, and I need planks to upgrade my granary. Alright, we have some food variety. We're still running off the bread that we started the game with. We have some bread. We're starting to get eggs now. And then berries, of course, is our primary food source. But since we have some variety, that helps with our approval. But we need to get some more chicken coops up and running, because 3 of them isn't enough to sustain everybody. Okay, let's upgrade our storehouse now. We have enough stone to upgrade our granary. That's all the amount of stone that I really wanted, so we'll turn that off. We'll assign that new family to get us some more food. Or actually, no. Actually, yeah. Alright, just give me some more families and I can multitask better. Now, this video is over an hour, and I don't intend on these videos being over an hour, but since I did a lot of talking at the beginning, I'm going to play until March, because that's a year from when we started. Okay, so now my storehouse is upgraded. So that provides us a lot more space to work with. Things like fuel tend to pile up, especially when we get to the point where we're converting firewood into charcoal. For every 1 firewood, you create 2 charcoal. So the amount of space in the storehouse is going to get pretty limited. That's why I upgrade it as soon as I can. And now we can upgrade our granary. I don't need somebody in the woodcutter's lodge. Alright, another family moved in. So we have 8 families in total. So that should get us to 16 men-at-arms, or militiamen. I haven't built a forester's hut yet to replace the trees that we're chopping down. Let's build it right there. So we have 3 unassigned families. Let's get another one back on foraging while we still have time. We don't need to create any more... We don't need to make any more granary workers or storehouse workers. Our capacity... Once these bars get up to the max, that's when you know that it's time to hire somebody else to work the storehouse. And I was wrong, I said 8. There's only 6. So we only need 12 market stalls. Whatever, it's okay. It's better to have more space than not enough space. How are we doing on our men? Okay, we're up to 18. We need 1 more family to move in. Once we have 20 militia, we're attacking this bandit camp. And I should preemptively build a corpse pit, because after a battle, I want to fight battles in my own territory, because you get an advantage bonus if you're fighting in your home region. So I want to typically pull the enemy into my region to improve my combat prowess. And since there's elevated land right here, if you position your armies on elevated land, you do better in combat. So ideally, we bring our enemy over here. But if there are dead bodies in your region and you don't have a way of disposing of them, it causes your approval rating to go down. So we need a way of disposing of bodies. And since I think this is going to be the battlefield in the future, let's build a corpse pit really close. Corpse pits are easy to move around and relocate, but let's get one built in preparation for our battle. which is going to happen as soon as we get another family. Okay, let's keep one family each on getting these, food and fuel. We're doing okay on timber. How about we get a family collecting stone again? And I'm going to take a family off of collecting timber. We have a lot stockpiled. Let's have them make some more planks. Okay, so now we pretty much have somebody doing all of our jobs full-time. We have enough families to fill all of them. In the wintertime, jobs become obsolete, like foraging in the wintertime is not a thing. So we do have families to work with when wintertime comes around. Maybe I'll have the old foragers become foresters in the winter. Alright, we just need one more family. Our approval rating's doing really, really well. It's because I got that church built. There we go. We have enough families now, so now we should have 20. I should waste no time. Alright, let's actually wait for it to get to 20, because it's only 19 right now. Okay, we have enough space to get a family on the forester's hut, and let's assign them a work area. The area that we just deforested. Let's get some trees growing again right here. I'm forced to do this. Normally, if I were on one of the huge maps with forests as far as the eye could see, it's not as necessary to use this job or utilize this building, because there's just so much wood to go around. But since our small region and we don't have that many forests, I have to do this. So we have 20 now. Let's get moving. So what we want to do is we want to muster our troops. We want to get close enough to the bandit camp that they muster out to meet us. And we want to draw them into our territory onto the high ground, because we'll get a major combat bonus from high ground. So let's do it. So our humble little village here can muster 20 men-at-arms. Or militia, not men-at-arms. Let's get them going. Now, calling men to battle pulls them away from their tasks, so jobs don't get done as efficiently anymore if we have our men mustered, because there's fewer people doing things. But I think now that it's winter time, let's unassign this forager, because we don't really need it. Let's keep stockpiling some fuel. Let's assign them to that. Actually, no. We'll get another forester going. So the bandits should muster 18 men, so we'll have a numerical advantage. It's not a ridiculous numerical advantage, but it's still an advantage.
Yes, sire. There's no hovel?
If we don't wipe out this camp, the AI will, and they'll get all the influence and the gold from it, and we don't want that. So we just want to get close enough to... There they go. So we've gotten close enough to them that they've mustered out. Let's get back to our territory. We'll make sure we're not sprinting, because we don't want to exhaust ourselves. And then we'll draw them into our territory. We'll speed up a little bit. Okay, they've experienced a little bit of fatigue because they were sprinting when I initially mustered them. But that's okay. Our effectiveness 109. What's affecting it? In-home region plus 90. That's our morale. But once combat initiates, we will get a high ground modifier. Alright, here they come. They're entering. We drew the suckers in. And we should get some resources back. If these bandits are the ones that stole anything from us, we should get those resources back. And I want my men to be balanced. A balanced... There's no missiles. They don't have any missiles. We don't want them to push forward. We just want them to be balanced. I hope the music is at a good enough volume. I guess I can turn it up a little bit, but... Because the combat music is... You don't often get to hear it, because you're not fighting too often. Here we go, let's watch this clash. Here we go, boys. And what I really like is that as you upgrade your militia and you give them better equipment, like better helmets and shields and weapons, like, they visually change. So you actually get to see a visual change. So they're charging up the hill like a bunch of morons. See, they're on the low ground, so that's affecting their combat. As for us, we're on the high ground, so plus 38%. So we shouldn't lose that many guys. Maybe we'll lose one. Alright, so they lost a guy, 17. 16. Still no losses for us, 15. Come on, boys. 14. 13. Yeah, they're getting slaughtered. We won that with no losses. Look at all the blood and stuff. That's really, really cool. Okay, I'm not gonna disband them because now we have to come over to this bandit camp and we have to capture the bandit camp. So we got some influence because of that. How much influence do we get? We have 360 influence now. We need 1,000 in order to claim a region. And of course, the first region that I'm going to claim is this one, because it's the closest to him. Now, we don't have a retinue yet, because we haven't built the manor house. Once we build the manor house, we get access to, like, a retinue, basically 24-hour soldiers, permanent soldiers. And what's nice about having the retinue is that after battles like that, I can disband my militia to go back to work, but then I can have my full-time soldiers come over and collect the loot from bandit camps and stuff, you know? But I don't have them yet, so the villagers gotta do it themselves. Yeah, we'll just go to speed 3. When searching through the enemy belongings, you find a stash of goods. They could be sent to your people who surely need them, though it's your right to keep it. Now, I basically have the choice to add it to the regional wealth or take it into my personal treasury. I don't really have a need for improving my treasury just yet. I think regional wealth is more important. The regional wealth is what I use to build backyard extensions, and I want to build more chicken coops. So we're going to send the resources to the town. Alright, let's run our men back. We gained 140 regional wealth, which means I can build more chicken coops. Okay, so now every house has a secondary source of food. They're not just eating berries 24/7. Now each household is going to produce eggs as well. So now we're going to start getting some food variety now. Okay, let's speed 5 it. Now it might be smart to take out this bandit camp as well, since we have a full strength company. It's just that they've lost a lot of their fatigue because I've had them sprinting. I had them sprint all the way out to that camp. But is there an elevation that we can use on this side as well? Yeah, it slopes in our favor too. And now we need to get rid of these bodies. Since none of them are my own soldiers, we can throw them into the corpse pit, whereas your own villagers get buried in the church. So since we didn't lose anybody, we need to assign a family to the corpse pit. Let's take somebody off wood cutting. We don't need fuel anymore. I always need an available, unassigned family to do stuff. Alright, I'm debating. Should we go get that other... Do I think I can do okay, even though we've taken some fatigue? Alright, it is the winter time, and there's not a lot going on, so we might as well. I won't have them sprint. We'll just have them walk over here. And maybe putting them right here will be close enough to draw them out. Yep, they're coming out. Okay, okay. We're lower on fatigue than before, but we still have the numerical advantage, we still have the home field advantage, and we still have the high ground advantage. Is there a more extreme slope that we can camp on? Yeah, let's get a little bit further up the hill. If you're amongst trees, that's a negative modifier. We want to be in a clearing. So if I move back too much, we're going to be in the woods. I'm just hoping that the slope is extreme enough to give us an advantage. Alright, we'll see how it goes. Surrounded by trees. Damn it, we want to get out of here. Too close. I think we'll be okay. We might lose like 1 or 2 men because they're still fatigued from their last battle. But now they have experience since they've already fought in a battle. We have experience, which boosts our morale. So maybe we won't take as many losses. I'm guessing maybe we'll take 1 or 2. But we've got the home field advantage. It remains to be seen if this is going to be considered high ground. I'll do it on slow speed during combat. Come on, boys, you can do it. For your wives and your children. Yes, we do get a high ground. It's just not as much. Only to plus 10%. Plus 8%. 13. 15. Alright, they started with 18. Now they're down to 17. We're still at 20. 16. 15. Come on, boys. I don't want any losses. 13. Come on, stay at 20. I don't want to lose a single man. Oh, we lost 1. It's okay. Oh, we lost 2. It's okay, they get replaced. Oh, there we go. We lost 3 now. Come on, guys. You could just get them to rout. Get them to rout. You could do it. Attaboy. Alright, so we lost some men. Quickly get out here and collect that. Alright, well done. That was the hope. This episode, we were able to achieve what I was hoping I could achieve. Getting rid of any bandit camps before our enemy could. And getting our militia up to a high enough level where we could take these out. So we accomplished that. So let's get the loot. We're also going to send this to the regional wealth, not to my treasury. And we should have gotten some of those stolen supplies back. Okay. So not the best time to fight battles and stuff, wintertime. But it's when the least amount of stuff is going on. It's when farms are dormant and food supplies are dormant and all that stuff. Okay, let's disband. Send them back to the fields. And what's really nice is that the men that are lost are pretty much immediately replaced once you get them back home. It's just that the weapons and the equipment that they had doesn't get replaced. So if we want to get more spearmen, we have to produce more spears and all that. So we eventually have to get some kind of weapon production under... or begun, you know? Okay. Let's get another residential plot, or another burgage plot built. Let's fill this empty space. I can get a backyard extension and a residential extension on this plot. Alright, let's do it. What do I need? Oh yeah, we have the corpse person. And are all those bodies gone? Yep. That corpse pit worker should also deal with these. Yeah, see, they have a long way to carry the bodies, but that's okay. At least they're getting it done. How about we take one of the foresters off, and we'll help get that done quicker. Now, what do we need to get to the next level? We need to upgrade 2 burgage plots to level 2. And I can't do that until the requirements are met, which are... I need more food variety. I could upgrade these, though. Oh no, I think I need a clothing type. I need some kind of clothing. I need to fulfill this need before I can upgrade. We do have a deer hunting spot over here to get some pelts. Alright, let's start the process of getting clothing, because we want to start upgrading. In order to get to the next development level, we need clothing, and our only practical source of clothing is getting pelts from deer. It doesn't really matter where you place the hunting camp, because the villagers will walk to the resource. Alright, logistically speaking, it's going to take the villagers to get here. It's going to take them a long time to get back and forth from the resource to the place, but that's okay. I'm not so much doing this for the food, even though hunting will provide us another food source. Did I do the wrong thing? Nope, I did a hunting camp. It'll provide us another food source, but unless this was a rich wild animal source, it's kind of tricky to harvest animals because if you overhunt, you can destroy the resource if you're not careful. So I value berries more than I value meat, even though meat is a solid resource because it also gives you hides, you know? So we will build a hunting camp and we'll get a family assigned to that as soon as we can so we can start getting pelts. And then once we start getting pelts, that'll allow us to upgrade these plots. Okay, we'll immediately get a family assigned. I'll take somebody off the stonecutters camp. We still have one available living space for somebody to get, and they just filled it. So that means we have to start building new residential. Instead of building a new residential plot, I'll just build this living space expansion on this plot. So that'll give us another thing. I want to pace my expansion and my population growth. And not just spam like 7 billion houses all at once. I want to avoid expanding my residential area out here for as long as I can, because I want to keep utilizing this for tree and timber production. Maybe we can get a row of houses coming along here. I eventually want to start building burgage plots that have vegetable gardens in the back, and those require a lot of space. I just have to think about where I'm going to put them. Maybe I'll start utilizing some of this space for, because the way I do it, I'll show you an example of a vegetable burgage plot that I built. I need like a flat area to show you. No, I'm not actually going to do this, but I'm just giving you an example. So rule of thumb, about four corpse pits. This is what I want my vegetable garden to be. And then this is what I do. I build... This is just an example. It'll be more precise later. This is what I want. So I want a burgage plot with a backyard extension that's going to be the vegetable garden or vegetable farm. I need that backyard extension to be this size. And then I want the burgage plot to not only have one residential plot, but I need this extra residential plot, because the more families that live in the plot that I make as my vegetable garden, that's more families dedicated to harvesting vegetables. So the families that are living in this plot, their sole job, they'll have no other job but to harvest vegetables, and this can become a solid food source for my village. So this will be a tertiary food source for my village. We already have the staple of berries. We have the secondary food source of eggs, because I'm building chicken coops in these burgage plots. And then for this burgage plot, if I build a backyard extension of this size with a further residential addition to it, I can get like a bunch of families harvesting vegetables from this. So that'll be a solid food source. But they require a lot of space to build, so I need to decide where I'm going to do my vegetable garden burgage plots. But that's just an example. I can probably afford to build a few more just regular plots with chicken coop extensions. Alright, there's not a lot of space for a plot right here. I can maybe build 2. I don't want to build too many of these size burgage plots because they're more efficient with fuel, because every burgage plot has a certain amount of fuel that it requires, and if you cram more families into a burgage plot, it helps with fuel consumption, but it doesn't help with food, because more people are living in the household than the household can produce in food. So if you build too many large burgage plots like this, without, and like if I were to build a chicken coop here, by the time this burgage plot gets fully upgraded, there's going to be like 5 families living on this plot, and that one chicken coop is not going to be able to sustain it. So plots like this are good for fuel efficiency, but not for food efficiency. You know what I mean? So I don't want to build too many of these. I would really prefer a plot like this to... But it's not letting me. Alright, I might have to move my woodcutter's lodge just to squeeze in a couple more, burgage plots. But that can wait for now. We still have an extra slot for people to move in. And once it turns March, at the end of this month, we're going to wrap up this video, guys, because we're almost at 2 hours, and I might have to edit some of this. But we've got everything we need. We've got a source of stone. We've got a source of lumber, or planks. We've got a source of timber. Got a good source of food. A good source of fuel. We have over a year's worth of food and fuel saved up, so we're okay. Our population is increasing at a decent rate. Now, I'm going to need to create a tannery now that we're stockpiling pelts. We have to build a tannery, so let's get that built. For now, I'll place it right here. All of this is eventually going to move. All these buildings right here, but for now... we'll keep everything close. Alright, so the snow is finally starting to clear up. I think I want to add another road right here. Another bandit camp was sighted. It's over here. That's not good. It's closer to our ally. I'm sorry, not our ally. The computer. So it's not going to take him long to march his forces over here to take this out. So unless he shows his men, we're going to wait. We're going to put off taking this out. Unless my enemy raises up his troops to take it out. And we need to start producing weapons. Okay, it's March. Alright, officially a year has gone by, guys. I think I'm going to wrap it up here. We have a lot to do in our next episode, but we started off well. We've gotten our feet under us. We've established our village. We have a decent amount of population. We have 720 influence, which means that hopefully after we take out this bandit camp, which we should do in our next episode, once we take this out, we'll have enough influence to claim this barony right here. And then once we claim the barony, bandit camps can no longer raise up in claimed territory, which means that from here on out, bandit camps will only rise up right here, which means that it's more convenient for me to take them out than it would be for our ally. Our ally would have to march all this way to take out any bandit camps that rise up over here, giving us easier access to them. So that's why we want to claim this county next, or this barony next. But that requires us to get some more influence. We need 1,000. We have 720 now. So yeah, if we get our next... Once we take out this next bandit camp, we'll have enough influence to make that claim. So we're doing really well. Our military took some losses, and we need to produce more weapons and shields in order to replace those losses. But we're okay. We could do that in the next episode. That'll be the focus of our next episode. But that's going to do it for today. I kind of wanted to wrap it up with no snow on the ground, but that's okay. We can just wrap it up right here. Anyway, thank you so much. Thank you so much, lords and ladies, for tuning in today. I really hope that you guys are here to stay and that you're going to join me for future episodes. Let me know down in the comments. Use that comment section. Let me know how much you guys, if you guys want me to do more episodes, if you're enjoying the series, all that kind of stuff. Leave likes. All that stuff is how I know if you want me to keep doing this. You know, guys? So it's not just about views, it's about your response. So use that comment section, leave those likes, subscribe to the channel if you aren't already. And hopefully we'll see you guys here for episode 2, which will hopefully be shorter because it's not going to be a 2-hour video like this one is. We're going to try to get things done a little bit faster in our next episode. But hope to see you guys then. Thank you for being here. Hope to see you guys in the next episode. Episode 2 should be coming at you soon. But until then, have a good one, guys.